Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Ben Kenobi is a bold one to do that, but let's be honest, he's pretty cool. So today I'm going to show you how to do this cool resume style, and this is all done in using HTML, Font Awesome, and Bootstrap. So it's like no JavaScript is required, nothing really serious. It's really easy to do it and has a really cool design in my opinion. So I thought I was gonna do this video with my resume, but I just thought that it would be cool to have someone else's resume on it, and no better than Obi-Wan Kenobi because let's be honest, he's a really cool character. Okay, well, the main point of these resume is like it has email and has a link to the website, LinkedIn, or even you can have like GitHub repository links or whatever like that. And then it has like two columns, right? And then it has a bunch of sections: education, skills, projects, publications, awards, teachings. But these headings, it can be anything, right? So, but this is more tailored towards like computer science students or computer science professionals. And obviously, the reason behind there's two columns is because you have to fit your resume into one page, right? Especially if you're like under 2 years of experience or anything like that. But I think even 5 year experience people should have like one page resume, and that's like the maximum. So, okay, let's get started. So the easiest way to get started is just basically, create like a new folder, and then I'm using Visual Studio Code in here. So I'm just gonna open that up, use Shift right click, and then just do like code dot, and then it will open up your VS Code. But I mean, obviously you can do this in any editor, or even you can do it in uh, Notepad if you like. So obviously this is not that's not my choice, right? So okay, the first step is to do like create a new file called index.html. So basically you just have to start the HTML and end the HTML, right? Let's just get rid of this for a second, like that. Cool. And obviously, if you've been to doing HTML, there's like three main sections, which is like head, body, and HTML. So body is like where all your content lives, and head is like the all the metadata that is not visible to direct users, right? So let's just test this and then see if it works. So let's just try to do like hello there. Okay, and then press Control S and saves it, and then clicks goes to the link, and then yes, it says hello there, so it is working. Cool. So that's the first step. And the second step is to obviously, I said, I'm using Font Awesome and Bootstrap, right? So we have to import those two, um, not libraries per se, but two stylings. So the easiest would be just Google like Bootstrap CDN, and I think this should do it. Okay. So Bootstrap CDN, we just need the CSS. So yes, today's HTML, copy the text clipboard. That's good. So that pasted into the heading section. So that's done. And next up is font awesome CDN. And I think this 4.7. Um, let's just try to do CDN again. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah, right. So you just click this and then also click the HTML. This will give you your font awesome and bootstrap. So the easiest way to test this would be just use like any font, right? I class, I think font awesome and font awesome Facebook, for example. Then save it, go there, then yes, so the font awesome is there, and then if you notice the font changed, right? So that's like means your Bootstrap import is actually working. So let's just go to our resume once again and analyze the sections, I guess. So we have a title and then maybe a subtitle that has information, and then like a line stroke, and then we have main two columns, right? So this column, like this column as a whole, and that column as a whole. So these two columns are not equal width. That's by design, and it's done by purpose. So basically in Bootstrap, every width is like can be seen as 12 columns. So what do I mean by that? So if you go to Bootstrap and then just Google search like layout and grid layout, you will see that. So 8 and 4. So basically every you know row has to equal to 12, which means this thing will have 8 width and then this thing will have 4 width. So basically this is like what 66% of the width and this is like what 33.3% of the width or something like that. And obviously if you just say 4 4 4, it will be like 33 33 33, and then column 6 would be just half and half, right? So in my case, I've done is put this as 5 and put this as 7. So let's just do that, right? So if you're dividing this into column, everything has to start with a row and then a column. So just like this example, right? So you have has to have like a row class and then has to have like column classes. So this I'll just do this like create a section that's much cleaner. So what I will do is just say, okay, this is like a header, which means on our resume, this top part is like a header, and then I'll just say this body, the content is just say content or something, and then basically this would be Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's just put it like that. So this would be my content class, and then I can just put whatever I want, right? So let's just try that, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, it is showing up. Cool. And on the content section, I have to divide it into 2 columns, right? So just like this example. So let's just try div class is equal to row, and I have to have like 2 columns, right? So this one is the first column and that one is the second column, which this should be col 5 and this should be col 7. So this is like 5 width and this is like 7 width. Now let's just try that, right? I think my sections were like starts from education and then there's experience. Okay, so let's just say education and then experience. Let's just see that what happens. Okay, yeah, right. So this is like the full width and this is 5 and then this whole thing is a 7, and you can even test this theory if you go to your developers console, right? Then turn this off and then this is like call 7 and then 7 width. This is like 5, so it is working as intended. Cool. So that's the first beginning of the first step. Let's just try to focus on other aspects of the resume as well. Okay, so these icons, right? These icons are like pretty easy to find. So what I do is font awesome 4.7, because like font awesome got updated into version 5 and then it just got tedious to import the icons, but this one is just the old one is like much cleaner and easier to do import. So I think mine was like a graduation cap or something like that, and you can scroll through, pick up whatever icon you like, but you can just easily search like cap. I think yeah, graduation cap. So this is in here. So I class FA dash graduation cap. I think. Let's just see if this works. Okay, yeah, this is working, right? And then my experience was like a briefcase or something. I think, yeah, briefcase. So this one is briefcase. Let's just do that. Briefcase. Okay, let's just see what it is. Okay, yeah, it is working. Nice. So we are getting there somewhat, but the styling, I'm not going to worry about it just for now because we just need the content there, and then we'll worry about the styling later. Okay, so I'll just do these sections first. So I have education, skills, projects, and publications, and awards and recognition, right? So it's pretty easy to do. Let's just copy paste the whole thing basically. Okay, so I have this. I can't copy that because this is supposed to be like one section, so I'll have to make some organizational change. So let's just do this section, and then I'll say I'll just put this into there like that. Okay, so this is gonna be my education, like this section as it is. Okay, and then this would be my skills section. Then and then projects and then publications. Okay, projects, publications, and then I'll just copy over the icons. I mean, you can search and choose your different icons, but I'll just do I'll just copy over for mine. So this skills, I think it's called tasks, and the projects, I think it's something like cogs or something. Yeah, right. So cogs. Then the publications was sort of like a book, right? Which is, yeah, it's just exactly that. It's just a book like that. So save that. And then for the column 7, I have to declare another section, then put that into there. And then I'll just indent this properly. Okay, and then do that. So we have experience and teaching, so just 2 sections. That's it. Teachings. And teachings is like a lightning bolt. In my resume, this lightning bolt is like a hackathon section, but teachings, whatever. I mean, you can find better icons, I believe. So that would be. So it's just, yeah, it's exactly as it is. It's just a bolt. Okay, cool. I think I missed one section. Yeah, awards and recognition down here. So down publication and then awards and recognition. Cool. So that would be trophy icon. So let's just see if this one is working. Okay, yeah, cool. So we have 5 sections in here, 2 sections there. Nice. That is working as intended. Okay, let's try to focus on the nitty-gritty stuff right now. So we have a little bit of a caret icon in here, but let's just do it from left, starting here. Okay, cool. So education, right? So we have kind of like a title here, and then description, like one row, and then like a title, and then rows of information, right? And you've noticed that this date is like right aligned, so we have to consider that as well. Um, let's just go to the education section, then make some organizations. So we have education up there, and then probably what I think is this should be in its own, header. Let's just do it in like header 3, and then we can just do this. And then let's see if this is making more sense. Yeah, all right. So this should be a class called, like, let's just say title. And then let's just do like a subtitle sort of thing, which corresponds to this, and then maybe that, or even that, right? So everything below the title would be the subtitle. So and then let's just do like class equals subtitle. So in here, our subtitle would be Jedi Order. So basically, Obi-Wan graduated from the Jedi Order, and this is like the most recent education, which is like he became a master, and then he is a member of a Jedi Council at the Revenge of the Sith, right? So cool, that's that. And I think I can open another div in here, which is basically this stuff. So this is the name of the school. So it would not necessarily the name of the school. So you would have education, and then in here would be your name of the school, and then maybe you would have your like bachelor's of science or something like that in here. Like this would be like BA or MS or MBA or whatever. And then this would be your graduation date or expected graduation date, right? Okay. What I will do is just separate into a bunch of divs. So in here it would be a Jedi High Council. Jedi High Council, and then this would be my BBY 21. Okay, so this BBY thing, right? For those of you who are not, familiar with Star Wars references, BBY stands for Before Battle of Yavin. So uh, BBY Star Wars. You can just find out everything in here. It basically means, zero BBY is first Star Wars episode where ever came. So Battle of Yavin is when the first Death Star was destroyed. So I mean, BBY means before, and then ABY means after Battle of Yavin. So episode 4 would be your reference of point. So before Battle of Yavin, 21 years ago, he graduated the council. I'm graduated to the council, I guess. So that's that. And we have div like that. So this is like one row and this is like another row, right? But obviously this is not. Like this is like one row and then, left and right aligned. It's easily fixable by Bootstrap. So let's just do this and see what happens. Right. So, okay, cool. This is Bootstrap is using Flexbox, and justify between content means this div has two divs inside, right? So each of the divs would be like separated until the furthest sort of thing. If there are multiple divs, it would be like average the distances out and stuff like that. You can find this information on Bootstrap Flexbox. So Flex here. So everything that you need to know would be around here. So obviously the deflex is supposed to be there, and I think mine was what? Justify content right here. Cool. So mine was this example basically. Put it at the furthest. So justify content between is like this one. Justify content around would be giving average spaces on each of them, and justify between content is like what we need right here. So that's that. And obviously you cannot just do let's just try this. If you're not familiar with Flexbox, you cannot just do without the divs, right? So this is not going to work. This will treat it as like one content in the middle, and it's just going to be left aligned by default. Let's just try that. Yeah, like that. So everything has to be inside of a container. Is that what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be div, but it has to be some sort of container. Okay, cool. So Jedi Council, I didn't save it. So Jedi Council BBY 21. Nice. Okay, let's go to the next one. So we have the Order and Jedi Master and Jedi Knight. So he became like a Jedi Master in before episode 3 and between episode 2 and 3. So let's just try like, hold on, I copied the section. It has to be like all this stuff right here. Wait, did I mess it up again? Let's try it again. Okay, here. Jedi Order. Yeah, nice. Here. So instead of Jedi Order, it would be the Order. I mean, they're both Jedi Orders, but I just thought, people would have masters from different school and bachelor from different schools, so that you would put it as different schools in here. So Jedi Master would be 21 BPY. So I think basically he became master and high member of the High Council in the same year. That's what I think, but maybe someone can point out the exact dates. Um, no, this shouldn't be here. Okay, so there are two rows in here. So this would be not the Jedi Master, this would be like Jedi Knight. So BPY32. The reason why I did this was because for me, example, I've had bachelors from one school and then masters in the same school. So you would have bachelor's degree in here in this row, and then your master's degree in this row, and then if you have another degree from another school, it would be like that. So that's my case. So that's why I did it this way. Let's try. Okay, nice. So you have this and that and that. Cool. Right. Let's just try do the skills, right? That's because the education is pretty much done. So the skills. I think I can copy some stuff over here. Basically, this whole thing. Then put it right here, and then I can just change the font awesome stuff, and then put it as that. Cool. Well, I guess in this case there was no subtitle, so I didn't have to copy everything. So I just basically wasted a bunch of time. That's fine. So in here, if you analyze it, this is just bold and this is just plain text, right? But if you've noticed, this is like one block, and that is one block also. So which means this should be in like one div container, and that should be one div, that should be one div, and this also should be one div. Let's just do that, and let's copy everything right here, and then let's just copy everything in here, basically. Okay, and then I just have to put it inside of a div. Like that. Cool. Okay, so here is one div, that is one div, that is one div, this is a one div. Nice. So that's exactly what we want. But for bold, you can just say like um, strong, I believe. But I would prefer to do this in the CSS way, not like this tag way, because you get more control that way. But this also works. So just put like strong tag on each of them. This is really bothersome. Okay, let's just copy this over here and then put it like that. Ah, okay, cool. Maybe I should put spaces in here instead of inside the strong. Just do that. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is working. Well, for example, like the skills would not be like for lightsaber languages, right? But it would be something like if you're proficient in the cloud, stuff, then you can say like, oh, yeah, I do Kubernetes, I do Docker, I do all those kinds of stuff, or maybe I'm expert in AWS for some reason, and expert in Google Cloud or whatever like that. But different programming languages would be inside of like languages. I can do this, or it can be like database, and then I can do this, and the database stuff like that. But I'm talking about computer science way, of course. So if you have other skills, then you can put it here also. Okay, let's move on to projects. So projects would be pretty much the same as my kind of like the education section, right? But if you notice, there's like a caret icon and some sort of other subtitle thing. Let's just do that. So okay, this is pretty much done, and I can copy over this stuff, then I can collapse it. Nice. Okay, so this would be my project section, and then my subtitle would be collection of one-liners. And then this is like, so we are missing something here. I think this should be like H5, I believe. Or is it H4? So my title is H3, and then my collection of one-liners is H4 exactly, and then I can put like H5, which is that thing. And then this is also like doing Flexbox stuff, right? So I can put 2 containers, and I can put the handwritten book, and then copy this, put it there. I've just misclicked. Okay, cool. And obviously I have to use the same Flexbox thing, which is, I'll just do it right here. I just did this class as like subtitle kind of, but this is not a great name, but it works. D flex, and then just if I count in between, nice. Okay, cool. Let's just try that, and then yeah, it works. So we have this subtitle, and that this is like subtitle. Okay, and if you've noticed, there's like a caret icon in here, so I can put that in here as well. So it would be I class fa. I think it is called like caret right. Let's just try that. Okay, nice. There is a caret there, so that's will be more obvious to readers who are reading it. Okay, that's all good. And you've noticed there's like a bullet point here, so which means we have to use unordered list. If it's number, then we have to use ordered list. I'm just gonna quickly do that. So it would be in here as like, I'll just do this unordered list ul, the list item li. So I'll just copy that over here. And then another list item li. That's not working. Which is that. So basically, I just made this as a joke, right? So he's become like a Force Ghost right now. So I mean, he is known for his one-liners in the movies, basically, like in Revenge of the Sith, especially.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
So he has a bunch of like book of collection of one-liners, and then basically, um, in the Force Ghost world, there are not many Jedi, right? So he just basically sold it to Yoda, and that's it. That was the joke. But now since the rise of Skywalker, we know much more about that. But I'm not gonna spoil it. But if you know, then you know. So okay, cool. So that's one project. So the next one would be, so this is like one project, right? That. So I'm just gonna delete this whole thing and then add the second project. Second project would be called Deflection Dojo. And then tutorial of hologram. And then it's also 0 to present. Cool. Then just do this. Do that. Okay, let's see how it looks like. I think it looks pretty good. So Deflection Dojo. I mean, obviously, Obi-Wan is known as, he's like a defensive Jedi and like a true form of Jedi, right? And then he can deflect shoots of laser, not laser, sorry, blaster fires like 20, shots per second or some crazy thing like that, and 20 to 60 even. So he basically like recorded like a hologram of teaching how to, deflect shots, and this is like his Form 3 Jedi art that we're talking, lightsaber art. And then also there's like a joke about selling one copy to Yoda because he cannot sell it to other Jedi, right? Because he's also like a Force ghost. And there's like note about like all projects you use Charming Manner and use a Yoda as a tripod because like there's no other people that can record it, right? So that was the idea. So let's just do this as a strong again. So the reason why I had this is because my projects were like written in a specific language, and but if this thing required some sort of skills, then you would put skills used as that, and then but mine was like every project pretty much used exactly the same thing, pretty much, but not exactly the same thing. Okay, cool. The next one is publications. So this is a just same thing repeating over and over again, but let's just quickly go over through publications, and then I have, let's just copy this thing. So this would be like my one project, and instead of deflection dojo would be that, and then this would be your authors, I guess, and then this would be your citation. So this is caret, but we don't need the Flexbox right here. So this can literally be just that, because there's no like date of publication, because it's already in the citation, so we don't need to double present. So this is like has only one list item, which is that. And I made this like calculation of 37 BPY because that's when Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan were like master and apprentice, and I just said, okay, there should be like course on Congress on Communications, right? And I mean, if you've seen episode 1, Qui-Gon is like really good at negotiating. Well, not as good, but I mean, and also like in episode 3, General Grievous.
Yes, the negotiator.
Right, so that's become like a meme. So I just thought that maybe he published something in communication arts or whatever. Okay, so I have to copy this again because the title's changed. So publications, and then this would be like a book. A collection of one-liners is not that one. Okay, let's try and see what it is. Okay, so it's like publication, strategy of negotiation, Qui-Gon Jinn, Kenobi. So Kenobi was all like the first writer, right? So that's already good. Qui-Gon Jinn basically like reviewed citations or something like that. But the second publication is more, also memeable. Let's copy this. And strategy of negotiation. Instead of that, we have art of war, ultimate guide to high ground. So basically, he's unbeatable in high ground, right?
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
And then he probably like studied this for his whole life. And also, he's like the only writer in here. And then the conference was on Mandalore because that's like the battle planet, right? So that was the joke, kind of. Okay, next section. Awards and recognition. Let's copy the section again. Section titles and subtitles. Do this. So instead of publications, it would be that, and it would be a trophy instead of a book. So this doesn't have a subtitle, so it's just going to be literally like a list of bullet points. So it's going to be UL, LI, and then a bunch of bullet points. Let's do the third one. And then okay, so we have like 3 awards or recognitions or something like that, some sort of like traits or some kind of stupid joke like that. So basically what it says is like single-handedly helped to create the best villain in the galaxy. So I mean, Darth Vader is obviously like pretty much everyone recognizes him, right? And then Obi-Wan single-handedly helped him to create. He even says, I failed you, Anakin. So, and then he also, made him cripple, right? So that was the recognition. And it's not necessarily an award, but I just noticed that Obi-Wan really likes to cut people's limbs off. Like in General Grievous, he did like 2 cuts, and for Anakin he did 3, right? And then also like in episode 4 he did like a cut of a random dude's arm in the bar. So that's why I just did this in the canteen, right? Cool. So this section is pretty much done. So we can move on to the next column. So next column is pretty similar to project section, I believe, but it has skills used one, but let's just copy that. So this would be my, I think it's really good to have comments over here because once I collapse, I cannot see it. So awards. This would be the publications. And this is the project section, right? Cool. So I'll just copy this whole thing like that. Projects, and this is the skills, and very top is education. Nice. Okay, let's just go to experience, and this is a briefcase, so let's just delete this whole thing. And experience, and this would be a briefcase. Okay, let's just try if this is like looking as expected. Okay, cool, but we have to change the titles and stuff like that. Okay, so the light everywhere. Obviously, this should be like a company name, and this should be like a location, right? So if you're like working at Facebook in California or something, that you would have to say Facebook and California or whatever. And this force codes would be your position title. So if you're like software engineer, you would just put that. So that. And timeline is also 0 to present. That's good. And this is like what you did, right? As the position, what you've accomplished, and what's there to brag about. And oh, did I? Okay, it's there. Nice, cool. So that's that. And I have like final section that says skills used. That would be like what type of, just copy this over. What type of skills you used, like language, skills, those sort of thing. Like what kind of stack did you use or some sort of things like that. Okay, so this was like what? So the light is like, you're in the light, you're immortal, and then basically you can, show up everywhere, anytime. That's like a god, right? And the force code is the position title, obviously. And like this is, I think it's pretty funny, right? And sometimes even Obi-Wan says like, okay, I mean, if you go there, I cannot interfere or some shit like that. And obviously that's like, that's writer's guard block right there. And the guided look to learn from a green little friend of mine, right? So this is obviously reference to Dagobah, and taught Darth Vader to become a Force ghost. So this is like really interesting. I didn't know about this. Basically, after Episode 6, he uh, guided, Darth Vader into become a Force ghost. This is like in the comics, I think. After he's like, saved Luke and killed Emperor allegedly, and after that he had like a brief moment where before Anakin dying, and after saving Luke, he became like Obi-Wan contacted him and say, okay, just shut up, listen to me, we have no time, just do as I say or something like that, and then you'll become Force Ghost. So that's how he became Force Ghost. Okay, so enough about that. Let's just try to finish this up. So we have this whole thing is like one experience, right? So this is like the second one. That's like the third one. That's like the fourth one. So this Obi-Wan, he obviously has many more experience, but I just thought, putting four would be fine. And the this one Well, I think it's pretty funny, but I'm not really sure what Obi-Wan is doing at like to get money or something like that. But he obviously has like a house to himself, so he's pretty well equipped. Self-employed, he was obviously doing something. We will know that on the upcoming Kenobi series, I hope. And Hermit Protector. So Protector is like obviously referencing Luke's protector, and Hermit is like I just think what he has been doing, but we'll see. So 19 BBY to 0 BBY. So Luke was 19 at the time that he obviously brought Luke to Tatooine, right? So that's why it's like from 19 to that. One of the things that I'm sure is he actually learned how to become a Force Ghost from Qui-Gon. So I think we're going to see about that. So protecting the farm from Jabba is like, I think it may be pretty common because like Jabba is like basically the mafia of the Tatooine, right? So he may have had influence on the moisture farm that was looking in. So I just did this, and killing killing Red Satan that was resurrected by fans. So this is obviously reference to Rebels. If you haven't seen them, go watch them. Maybe that fight scene or something. But obviously, like, I mean, Darth Maul, he became, came back to life because fans demanded it, and Obi-Wan, killed him the second time, pretty much. Spoiler alert. Okay, in Tatooine, he obviously used Jedi mind tricks on the stormtroopers and used lightsaber combat, but not that much. I think he had to hide the lightsaber during Tatooine, but I mean, he revealed it at the end because none of that mattered. And negotiation is like where he negotiated with Chewbacca and Han and stuff like that. So, okay, next project. So Galactic Republic military. So this is pretty cool. This is referencing the Clone Wars, obviously, and the time is 22 BBY until 19 BBY. So 3 years of war, and he served as a general. And the things that he did, he defeated General Grievous. That's good. And leading clone trooper. So I got this information from Wikipedia, which is the best source if you're doing something with Star Wars. Got betrayed by my fellow soldiers. Good man, that Cody. So in Clone Wars TV series, right? He references that good man, that Cody. But later on in Revenge of the Sith, he tried to kill him, right? So that's why. Okay, so the skills used, he used a bunch of stuff like negotiation, obviously, like in the Clone Wars TV, not TV, the movie, he, distracting some other separatist general, and he used sarcasm throughout the movie, pretty much, not movie and TV series, and he was extremely good leader and, blaster. This is like referencing to Revenge of the Sith. He blasted General Grievous, right? So that's why. So in the Jedi Order, this one, so I have to copy again. In the Jedi Order, he served as a High Council member, which, obviously Anakin couldn't do. So, High Council member. And that was between, like, I just think it's 2 years, but maybe someone can correct me. Because this 19 BBY is actually the fall of Republic, right? So he did it until that, and what I think is he became like a council member in the middle of the war, not like beginning of the war. So this is referencing, the Jedi Council ordered him, Anakin, to spy on Chancellor Palpatine, right? So that's like referencing that. Failed to convince the rest of the council member to become a Jedi Master. So basically, this is like one of the reasons Anakin, became so mad at the council, right? He couldn't be a master, and that was like, really frustrating for him. And I think that's definitely didn't help Anakin. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so in here I think I just made a copy paste mistake, and the skills used would be, let's just think of this, right? Um, not realizing your brother, I guess. Brother. Let's just do this. Let's just do like one skill. Okay, the teaching section. So this is pretty much done. And let's just copy. It says teaching is like also a project. So skills used. So we have bolt icon. Okay, let's just remember that. And then instead of briefcase, we have bolt and teachings. And the yeah, I just combined these two. This is not obviously not the same place, but he began Luke's training on Tatooine, and then later on Alderaan we see him also training like during the travel. So it would be that teachings, and it would be 0 to 5 ABY. And I think he obviously contacted Luke after that, but I just thought, we know for sure that he was teaching Luke after 5 years. Um, so that. Oh, this is really hard to copy this PDF, but we're getting there. Okay, the skills used. Okay, so taught him about the Force, use your feelings. That's like basically what it is, right? That is this thing that Qui-Gon taught Anakin.
Use the Force, Luke.
Managed to destroy the first Death Star with guidance. So that's like basically referencing the first bullet point, right? He, became Force Ghost, and he taught Luke to use your feelings. Don't use the computer. So basically, taught become a Jedi Master. So Luke will obviously become a Jedi Master at later points, but he did it mostly himself, I guess. But without Obi-Wan, he couldn't have done that. So I just said from a certain point of view because that's like one of the memes that Obi-Wan does, right? So okay, so the second student is obviously Anakin Skywalker. So Force projection and my wisdom. That's like sort of bragging. But let's just try to copy this. And Tatooine Alderaan, I think this is like Jedi Academy, Anakin Skywalker. Wait, did I put Luke Skywalker up there? Maybe I messed it up. Okay, so we have copy pasted this, and so let's just change the name and location, stuff like that, right? So let's just see how this looks like. I have teaching, so I didn't save it. Okay. I have teachings, Tatooine Alderaan, Force Ghost. So I think that I switched these two. So let's just go up there. Instead of Tatooine Alderaan, this should be Luke Skywalker. And obviously the next one should be Anakin Skywalker, right? And the second one is like Jedi Academy. That works too. Obviously, the Jedi Academy is on Coruscant, but I think I just didn't do that for some reason. Okay, let's copy this. So I think Obi-Wan trained Anakin for 11 years, so that's like 32 BBY until 22 BB, not APY, BBY. And failed him because he was holding him back. So that's like a reference to the Attack of the Clone Wars, and also like on the episode 3, he said I failed you, Anakin, right?
I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you.
So, and this bullet point is obviously referencing like the last time, you know, Obi-Wan and Anakin meets before he turned into the dark side, basically. So this is like a reference to Clone Wars also. Like if he just, aimed for the neck, he could have killed Darth Vader, and that would be the end of it, but he just didn't, and he didn't make sure he was still alive, right? And he said this to Darth Maul. Still mad at me for still. Let's just put like Darth Vader is still mad at me for robbing his lightsaber. This is like a reference to Robot Chicken's High Ground clip. So if you haven't watched that, go see it. Go watch it. Go watch that. And then I can copy this. So obviously he used the high ground to kill, and not kill, defeat Darth Vader, and he is like the master of Form 3, and patience is like ruling everything, and he taught him everything he knows. So that's basically that. Okay, let's save this and see how it looks like. Okay, looks good. Okay, cool. So the body section is pretty much done. Let's focus on the top heading. It's because we haven't touched that part yet. So we can do this and do that. So header, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then there's like a line, and then these stuff, right? So obviously this should be a block element. So that, and then I just do, the second one also a block element. So I think I can even do this as like H1, because that's obviously like that's the biggest heading we have, right? So in Bootstrap, I think if you just do text center like that, it will just center the text. Let's just see. Yeah, right. So it just centers the text. That's good. That's one of the wonderful things about Bootstrap. So I just did this as like H2, but obviously it might be too big, but I might have to change the font size with the CSS. But we'll see. Okay, and this also has to have like a text center. And let's just see. Let's just copy everything from here. So this is pretty straightforward. And there's nothing complicated in here. It's just, adding icons, and, FALG means it's like, convert the icon to become a large icon. And this is like the phone number, phone icon, and then it's just the external link, right? So if you click, it will just go to the personal website or whatever, and this will click if it just emails you. So let's save this and do that. Yeah, obviously just looks way too big. I have to change this to by CSS. All right, cool. So we have the content that we need. So this is obviously a step towards the right direction, but let's just do the styling configs, right? We haven't configured any styling in here because we didn't add any styling files. So that's like the best way to do it, right? So let's just do style.css. And obviously you have to reference this file to the main HTML, which you can do it by just this command. So it would be link, it's the style sheet, and it's a type of CSS, and then this is like where is it located, right? So it's style.css. And then I can do a whole bunch of styling here. So obviously I think the main styling is the subtitle and then the title. So let's just start with title. The dot title. It's because that's a class element, right? The color I chose was a blue, kind of darkish blue color, this is pretty standard color. And I just did like top margin because it's like too squished, right? There has to be some sort of space from here to there. So I just did like top margin as 10 pixels. And let's see how this looks like. Did it change everything? Okay, I think it changed something. Definitely the margin changed. Let's just try and see this. Oh, it didn't change anything. That's weird. Oh, I think I misspelled style. Huh? That's embarrassing. Okay, cool. So I just changed this into 10 pixels and then see how it, yeah. So the color changed. There's like slight margin up top. So that's good. That's good. Okay, and then next, let's change the, oh, we haven't added the HRs. HR, which means there's supposed to be like a line across here, right? This line. So this should be after the H2, which is just that. So that. So you see this gray line, we'll just do a bunch of styling in here and then make it the same as what we have. So we have HR, border, top. It doesn't have to be top, but I just said, top. And then this color is the same color. Oh, sorry, this is 003366. And then this looks like that. Cool. So that's good. And the next one would be probably be the title. So the title is an H1, right? So H1, I'll do is color is obviously the same. And I'll just copy this. And then font size is 60 pixels. And if you're really, anal about this styling should be alphabetical order. But I mean, this resume, just if you don't care, then just don't care about it. It doesn't really matter. So font size 60 is good, and I think you can have 20 pixels of margin. So yeah, this looks good. And the subtitle, not subtitle, this section right here is H2, right? So I'll just reference it as H2. And that would be, let's just change the font size, and I think that's gonna be all good. Okay, cool. And yeah, this looks good. All right, so I think comparing it to this, we just have this as like black, right? And then that's pretty much it. Let's just convert these links into just show black colors. So this is called a text decoration, and we can reference it as, so we have section class, header, section class, content, right? So we can reference it as content, and A is the link. So uh, like that. Oh no, this is the header. Sorry, so it should be the header. And we can have text decoration none. So this basically gets rid of the underscores, I believe, and you can just change the color to like black or 000. And then this should give you the desired one. Yeah, right. So if I didn't have this, I think this would show underline. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So yeah, this is all looking good. And let's just see if there is anything that I'm missing here. I think there's just minor font sizes here and there. Let's just do that. So probably this is like way too big compared to that. It would just decrease the font size. So let's do that. Subtitle class is where we have this stuff, right? Class subtitle is font size 20 pixels. Right, that looks good. And class subtitle, we can have font size as 18 pixels, slightly smaller, which is these stuff. And then I think, so there's like a gap in here, And maybe, if you can just press Control P, which is print, right? And then you can see if there's just too narrow, then you can add padding. I'll just do some padding over here. So dot call 7 is the padding. Not padding, the class name. Padding left. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, right. If this is too close, you can just add some padding, and then yeah, this looks good too. Okay, so this is how the HTML website looks and how it's done. It's pretty easy, very straightforward, but at least it just gives you some, basic styling guide, and while learning your HTML and CSS and stuff, you can create your own resume. It's pretty cool. And I've been using this format of resume for my job applications internship and stuff like that. And it is, I think it outstands it. But I'm not gonna say this is gonna, improve your chances or anything. But at least you're using your website skills to your resume. I just think this is much better than a Word document, for example, because in Word document, if you cannot really see the history of changes or anything like that, right? But if you can, link this to your GitHub or whatever, you can just access it anywhere, and then you can see the histories. Because now that I think about it, I cannot see my resume from 2 years ago, right? Because obviously I just overwrites my resume and keeps updating it, and I would really love to see how my old resume looks like, but I don't have that information right now. So this I would encourage you to open a GitHub page right now, and then just update this constantly, and then just post it in your GitHub. That would be the best way to do. And I can even show you my resume and what it looks like. So if you can just go to my website and click on resume, this is exactly what it looks like, right? So let's go over through this. So education, as I said, I have 2 schools, and then 2 degrees, and the third one comes from a different school. That's why I have this. And related job experience, I have like 3 job experience, and then the skills I use here and here. And then this lightning bolt is like my hackathon projects. And I have a art section right instead of the left, because this publication's just name is just too damn long. So that's why. And this project, managed web. I just said managed website instead of project because it is a project, but I mean I also manage these websites, so that's why I did it. And these skills are like different types of skills: the programming languages, database, mobile development, web development, yada yada yada. So this is what it looks like. I don't have my GitHub repo because I don't use GitHub that much. I use GitLab on my projects, and it's all private repo, so I cannot even share these websites code because it's kind of like private. So, and that's the reason, one of the reasons I just use GitLab. But now I think GitHub is like, if you have 3 collaborators, then your repo can be private, but that's just too late for me now. GitLab is my preference as of now. So that's about it. And if you have any questions, concerns, comments, leave it down below, and take care.